Well, hey crafty friends, it's Heidi Scott with DIY Dreaming, and on today's video we are going to be making some lavender sachet that you can either hang, for example, on a dresser drawer, or you can make a larger loop and hang it on the door to a room, or on a nail or something like that, or that you could put in your drawers. And these take no time at all to make. They're super duper affordable, and they just make a sweet just because kind of a gift. So I've been playing for a while, and I made this one this morning. I'm working with white canvas duck today. So I made this one, and then I made this little one. I did the back of it with a print. And of course I put a doily in there and some lace and a button. And then I made this one the other day. It's plain, it's just white with doilies and lace. And then a while back, I made a whole bunch using this cream or unbleached canvas duck and some of this pattern here. And I gave a whole bunch away to different friends. And they still smell so good. And then I made some little hearts back then. So let me tell you about it. What you're going to need, first of all, is lavender. And I purchased this bag of lavender. Oh my gosh, it smells so good. At my favorite antique store, Queen of Hearts in Alpharetta, Georgia. But I know for sure you can buy lavender, dried lavender, on Amazon. You can probably find it in a lot of craft stores. So I have that. And then my special trick is, because I like my projects to feel sort of substantial, and lavender by itself just feels really lightweight, I have been adding, what is this called? Long grain rice. So my bag that I'm working out of, excuse all the crinkles, has half rice and half lavender. So you're going to need lavender, and then you're going to need some canvas. And like I said before, I'm using white canvas duck. I did iron it so that it would lay nice. And then I am using, put these out of my way, I am using some of my favorite all over pattern stencils from magnoliadiy.com. And let me just tell you this, Magnolia has a ton of patterns. I don't know which ones are in stock right now, but I'm absolutely certain that you can find 1 or 10 patterns that you absolutely love. I've done some with this. This is a beautiful roses. Oh my goodness. Absolutely love this one. And we're going to do a project with this one in just a minute. It's got birds on it. And that like old-fashioned script. And then this one, which I absolutely love this. I did just show you some projects that had that fabric. This stencil design. And then I'm using today, and I did in the past, Amethyst Orchid ink. Okay, so let me show you how you do this. I've been working ahead so I'd be all ready to go. Okay, I took my piece of canvas and I took my stencil off the backing, laid it on the canvas, and applied a pretty thin coat with a squeegee of this Amethyst Orchid ink. You need ink, okay? Especially if it's going to be a drawer sachet. Because if somebody put like a wet bathing suit, or even damp bathing suit, in a drawer that had a sachet made with chalk paste, that chalk paste could get wet and get all over everything. Ink is permanent. It has a white lid. And after it's dry, you heat set it with an iron, and it can be washed and everything. So ink is what you need for this project. Okay, let me throw these over here. All right, so that's what I did, and I made some fabric. I made this one. I made this one, those birds that we're going to use. I've got it pinned where I'm going to cut it. And then, and then I made some more of this. Little teeny roses, but I've already used it, okay? So I let it dry overnight, and then I heat set it with a piece of parchment paper and a hot iron for 3 or 4 minutes, and it is absolutely good to go, okay? So I'm going to use this, and I'm going to use a piece of plain canvas deck, and like I said before, it comes, you can get canvas deck at just about any fabric store. Hobby Lobby has it. You can probably order it online. You do want to get a pretty heavy weight, a thick canvas that'll be easier to work with, but it comes in white, unbleached, which is cream, and then all kinds of different prints and patterns. Okay, so my idea with this piece is that I'm going to do a fairly large heart about this size right here. Okay, and I want it to have this little bird in it. So, and I'm just freehanding this. This will be the front. And it will be symmetrical because I pinned it in half. Okay, let's see. I can always trim this smaller. Yeah, I think that will work just fine. You see our little bird on there? Could be just a smidge narrower. Let me just trim it up just a teeny bit. So it's not quite so fat of a heart. Okay. So here we go. Now I'm going to cut one out of my plain canvas to go on it. And the fun part about this project is the embellishment, if you ask me. You can add little bits of Dollar Tree flowers, like this is my purple bag. You can add buttons, all different kinds. They don't have to be mother of pearl if you don't have those. You can add bits of lace, you can add bits of doilies. You can tear your canvas and use that. You can get ribbon like this polka dot lavender color. And I'm not going to worry too much right now about getting this cut out exactly perfect because I will trim it after it's glued together. So let me just get this cut out, basically. And I'm using today low temperature hot glue that is Sherbonder brand. That's my favorite. It looks like this. But you could use a tacky glue, or you could use high temperature hot glue, but if you do that, just be really careful, especially if you're going to stuff any polyfill in these because it gets super duper hot and you can get a significant burn if you get hot glue, even low temperature hot glue, on polyfill and then get it on your hands. Okay, I'm almost done here. All right, so I have a front and a back, and the first thing I'm going to do is I'm just going to put one little point in the center where I glue my two pieces together, and that will create some dimension that will look sort of like this. Or this one. But I'm not going to do a big circle. I'm just going to do a little dot. Okay? one thing I've been learning lately is that the bigger the hole you leave open to stuff it with the lavender and rice, the easier it will be, seriously. Okay, so I just glued a little point there. And now, let's glue the front and back together, and then we can talk about embellishing. So tell me in the comments if you have ever done or ever made lavender sachets. They seriously do not have to be all fancy. I made a bunch like this just with my unbleached cream colored canvas deck, and this is basically just a little stacked bow made out of bits of lace and torn canvas deck. Here's another one that's smaller. I made these at least a year ago, and they still smell wonderful. So you don't have to go super crazy with anything here if you don't want to, just to let you know that. I think I'm going to leave a whole side of it open to stuff. Oh, you know, the other thing I want to do is I want to add a loop to this. I almost forgot. And I'm just using some Dollar Tree lace. Pull this open just a little bit here at the very top. You can always glue that on the back if you forget to put it inside. I've done that several times. Okay. So I'm leaving all of this open. And you can create the whole thing and then add the lavender and close it up, or you can just add the lavender, close it up, and then doll it up. That is totally up to you. Okay, so here we go. And let me give it a quick trim because I did not do a very good job. If you're wanting to look at the stencils that I'm using here today, or ink, or anything else that's Magnolia related, my website is magnoliadiy.com. I'm almost out of battery on my phone, darn it. So if I suddenly disappear, that is what has happened. So we will just move this along quickly. And I'll finish all the details off after. Okay, so you see our little bird? I was thinking that we could just do a simple bow for like up in the corner with some torn canvas duck. And I like to just do crisscross, crisscross. And how about some lace? Okay, and how about some of this lavender colored lace? I have no idea where that came from. But I hang on to everything, so I probably, I don't know, got it at a thrift store a while back and didn't know what I would do with it, but didn't part with it. And let's see, what else do we want? Could this work? Let's try this. This is a piece of a doily. We'll see. We'll put this on the very back. So I'm going to just do a little crisscross, crisscross. I'll do this white canvas. I like to glue my pieces in the center when I'm making one of these stacked bows because it makes it easier when you flip it over to put the centerpiece on it. It makes it easier. Okay, let's just do a little bit of this lavender. Doesn't have to be perfect because I can fluff that all up later. Let's see, what do I want to tie it closed? Let's just use a little bit of this lace right here. Okay, so I'm going to put another blob of glue right here in the center. I'm just going to put this piece right there. And then I'm going to flip it over and cinch it up some to close it up. This is generally how I make my bows. This is a lazy bow, but it works just fine. Okay, and I'll fiddle with it afterwards. But I want to stuff it while you're here, while I still have a little bit of power in my cell phone. And then we'll come back if I'm still alive here. I want to show you what this is going to look like with this little dot of glue. In the center. And I find it's easier to mix your rice and your lavender in a little baggie before you put it in, rather than putting a scoop of rice and a scoop of lavender in. And what I'm trying to do is to get it to come around to the other side of the heart. So if purple is not your thing, or this is called amethyst orchid, you don't have to use that color. If you like the cream colored canvas duck better, you can obviously use that. If you have some pretty fabrics or fabric samples, you could make some of these with that. You can use just about any pattern stencil that you might have handy and some ink to make your own fabric if you want to do that. I do that all the time. So tons of options. Okay, let's say that's full enough, and I'll fiddle around with it after. But I want to see if I can get it sealed shut. And I will melt all of my glue strings with a hairdryer. That's the easiest way to get rid of them when I am off camera. Okay, but you can see what putting that little dot of glue did in the center. And then because I don't want to cover up our cute little birdie's face, I'm thinking these little pieces of lace are not really, you might need to add some other ribbon to this, some of the darker, but let's go ahead and glue it on in this top corner. And of course, you can add a button. Doesn't have to be mother of pearl, it could be whatever you love. And there you go. Super easy, super messy, I will say. So let me show you the other ones that I made. And then I will get pictures of everything after the fact. I might add some flowers to this one that we just did. This is cream colored canvas. Here's my other little white, and I did the back of it with the printed, and I glued, this is a doily, and then I made like a little pocket just with the teeny strip. Here's the heart ones, and then here's a plain one that is just white canvas cotton, canvas duck with pieces of doilies. So that's what I wanted to show you. If you make your own fabric, the advantage is you can choose the design, you can choose the color, you can decide how much to make. It is super affordable. This is not going anywhere. It's not going to come off. Of course, you wouldn't put this in the washing machine, but you could spot clean it. And you could also put it in a drawer and not worry that it was ever going to come off on anything else. So tell me what you think. You can comment stencil or stencils, S-T-E-N-C-I-L or S-T-E-N-C-I-L-S. Yes, I used lavender. Looks like this. If you would like a link to look at the different pattern designs, and if you want to look at different colors of ink, and Magnolia has a ton, just comment ink, I-N-K. And I will pronto message you my links to those two things so that you can just go click and it'll take you straight there. So look in your messages for a message from me if you would like to have a peek. What do you guys think? Isn't it cute? I do think I'm going to definitely change this light lavender for something a little bit darker. But I love how it turned out. My goal was to get that little bird right there in the center, and I think I accomplished it. Alrighty. Have a blessed and wonderful rest of your day. If you decide to make some of these, no matter what technique you use, I would love to see pictures. So send them to me or drop them here in the comments. Alrighty. Have a blessed and wonderful rest of your day.